In this lecture, we are going to discuss Trojans, a particularly dangerous type of malware. And there is a story associated with the name Trojan horse. So there was a war which was called Trojan War. And it happened when the Greeks they laid siege to a city called Troy, and the people who lived in that city were called Trojans. Despite 10 years, the Greeks were not able to conquer the city. So they had laid a siege for 10 years, but they were not able to conquer the city. So after 10 years, what the Greeks did was that they built a huge wooden horse and then they simply left. So when the Trojans they saw that the Greeks had left and they were nowhere to be seen, so they went out and brought the horse in as a victory trophy. At night, people climbed out of that wooden horse. So basically, the Greeks had hidden some of their soldiers inside that big wooden horse, and when night fell, the soldiers they simply climbed out of the horse, they opened the city gates, and hence the city was conquered. So the name Trojan horse comes from that war. The basic idea is to trick the users into installing something which they believe to be legitimate but which isn't. So Trojans are basically a kind of malware which masquerade as legitimate software. So a Trojan is a kind of malware that looks like legitimate software in order to trick the users. Most commonly, they are spread through either phishing or through email attachments. A particular type of Trojan is called rat, which basically embeds itself into the operating system and installs backdoors on the system. Let's see how this works. So basically, the Trojan is hidden inside a legitimate software. Let's say there is a game and somebody sends you that game through email or through a link. And when you install that game on your system, in addition to the game being installed, the malware also infiltrates your system, installs itself, and opens a backdoor silently. Now, this allows a remote hacker to remotely access your system just as if he was sitting directly on your system. So the key point here being that you have to trick the users into installing legitimate software, whereas that software also includes a component of the malware. Trojans can perform a number of malicious actions on your system, which include keylogging, taking screenshots, or doing screen recordings. They can also copy, modify, or delete your data. They can also disrupt the performance of your computer system or network, sort of a denial of service attack. They can also use your system to launch distributed denial of service attacks on victims. There are some advanced Trojans which can even avoid or disable anti-malware software. A particularly dangerous type of a Trojan is called a rat, which stands for Remote Access Trojan or Remote Administrative Tools. Now this type of a Trojan plugs itself into the operating system and then runs at a service. And since it has the backdoor open, this allows for the remote hacker to directly tap into that service and control your system remotely as if the attacker was directly sitting on your system. So rats provide complete administrative control of your system. The screenshot shows the control panel for Dark Comet Rat. It is a remote access Trojan which was designed and developed by a French cybersecurity engineer. Now it provides complete administrative control of your system. So basically the remote hacker can copy or modify files. They can move files from your system onto theirs and vice versa. They can execute commands remotely. They can launch keyloggers so that whatever you type is captured and sent to them remotely. They can even access your registry. So summing up, they have complete administrative control of your system without you even being aware of it. Now this opens up several doors. They can even install further sophisticated malware. They can carry out ransomware attacks. They can leverage your system to do a distributed denial of service attack and many other malicious activities. So how to avoid or prevent Trojans? So some of the tips are similar to what we discussed previously in general for malware. So the first is never to install software from untrusted sources. Secondly, to avoid opening or executing suspicious attachments. And also to keep your antivirus and anti-malware updated and your applications patched. Now Trojans are particularly dangerous because they provide 24/7 unlimited access to your system, which can cause some serious consequences in terms of security, in terms of your confidentiality of your data, and several other problems. This concludes our lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture.